Hello everyone, Abby here, Purple Cottage Crafts, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. In this one, I'm going to be taking apart this, I think it's like probably like bridesmaid's dress, possibly a prom dress, I'm not quite sure, that I thrifted at Goodwill. I already took apart the bow before I washed it, and then this was the part that, stuck this to the back of the dress for the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and be taking this apart just so it's a little bit easier for me to use for projects, and I thought I'd go ahead and just kind of show you guys the process of that and just kind of chit-chatting. Not that it's anything, different than what you would normally do to take apart clothing, of course, but I thought I might as well just kind of share with you guys as I'm doing that. So I will be, let's see, this is a little bit larger piece. I'm trying to decide how I want to first start taking this apart. Let's see, let me look at the underside here. So I think what I'll probably do, just have a little bit less bulk, is to go ahead and cut away this tool that's on the inner side here, or the crinoline. And I have just a couple pair of scissors and then my seam ripper. I kind of showed you guys in a prior video the tools I like to use for, or at least the basic tools I like to use when I'm taking apart clothing. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick this apart. I'm just going to make a little hole. I'm not going to take the time probably to pick this all the way off, even though I like doing stuff like that, but I just have, a lot of other things I need to be focusing on. So just kind of get a little bit of it. Actually, maybe this will be a little quicker than I thought it would be. Yeah, perfect. This is great. I was just going to go ahead and cut it with the scissors, but this is working as well. So and then we'll get this taken off here, and then it's going to be nice and separated. So I'm going to go ahead and get that part done. Okay, so now we have that off the dress. It's a little bit easier to work with. So I think what we'll focus on now is go ahead and unpicking the stitches here, which is where kind of like the bustle was attached. And I need my glasses. Okay, now I can see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go through and unpick all of these stitches here and then get that removed from the main part of the dress. So it's a little bit easier for me to manipulate and cut down. Now if I had like a larger workspace, like like at a craft store where they have like the big huge cutting tables, that wouldn't be so much of a problem, but I don't have that large of a table to work on. So I have to kind of take these things apart, so it's a little bit easier for me to have them in smaller bits so I can take them, cut them down further. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have the white portion of the dress apart from the main body. As you can see, I went ahead and removed the rest of that netting off of there. So this is a really good piece of material. I'm not going to be cutting this down. I'll probably go ahead and iron this on cool, and I'll get this folded up, and then I'll keep it in the size that it is. So whenever I go to grab this for a project, I'm going to have the most yardage together in case I want to do a larger project. So this part is done. Now we're just going to go ahead and take apart the pink part. Okay, so this is going to be really similar to when I took apart those dress jackets. I'll link that video below in case you're interested in watching that. Or if you've taken apart clothing yourself, just removing the stitches, just cutting it down, taking out the zippers in the boning that's inside here. I do want to keep that. I'm thinking about actually keeping the top part, the corset portion of this dress intact, so I may just go ahead and just cut the top part off, because I like having the option of using this as possible binding for something. So that's probably what I'm going to do more than likely. I will, let's see how far down the zipper goes. Okay, the zipper goes down a little bit further than the main part of the dress. So what I will do is pick apart the zipper. That way I can cut this across. I do have scissors that will cut through a zipper, but if I can keep this all in one piece, then I'm going to have the zipper to use for a different project as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will keep the bodice together like I said, or the corset part. I'm going to leave the snaps in here. I'll cut these out, and then I'll go ahead and take apart the seam right here, and then I'll have a larger piece of fabric as well as this bodice portion or the corset portion, and that's going to be it. So this is going to be a pretty quick dress to take apart and get it ironed up and folded up and put into one of my fabric totes that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this down past the darting the darts that are on this dress. I was wanting to see if it'd be easier for me to do that with the wrong side out so I can kind of see where the dart seams end there, and I think that's what I will do. And I'm not gonna be too fussy about it. I'm not gonna break out my rotary trimmer or my cutting mat or anything. I'm just gonna cut this straight across here, and it might be a little bit wonky, but that's okay because that's just sometimes how I do it. So all right, I think I'm below, so I'm just gonna simply take my scissors and just cut this here, and I'm sorry you guys can't see the entirety of what I'm doing, but I'm sure you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about. Now, I could pick apart the side seams, but as I mentioned, I want to kind of keep this into a bigger piece as possible, at least the bottom part of the dress, so I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and just simply cut across here. Now, you could, of course, if you wanted to, and I'm cutting through both layers, of course, you could, of course, use your trimmer if you wanted to take a little bit more time to take this apart. That's up to you. It depends. Sometimes I will take the time to do that, and sometimes I won't. It just depends on what I'm working on currently and what I need to get done project wise. Okay, so now I'm going to be coming across this part here where the zipper was. So I'm going to go ahead and cut through that here. I need to tuck that piece under so I can cut through it. All right, and then we can continue on. We get to where I'm cutting both layers again. There we go. And any of these smaller pieces, when I go to kind of tidy this up a little bit, the top part, I can use those little smaller pieces in my little slow stitch collage bits that I have. So I never throw away any of the fabrics. I try to preserve and use as much as possible. So here we have, to get my glasses off, here we have just the top part of the dress, and as I mentioned, I'm going to keep this in its entirety here. That way I have options. It's something I like to do, and just kind of get this folded up and keep the boning and stuff in as I mentioned. And then now I just have the bottom part of the skirt. So because I don't want to keep this in a circle, I'm trying to say I want this to be a flat piece of yardage, so when I go to use it I can just get going on the project. I like to kind of prep as much as possible, so I can either pick these apart, I can probably just tear it like I just did. So there is that, and I'm not going to worry about taking apart the hem right now where it's all completely unstitched like it is right here. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to leave it like it is. So that is pretty much how I take apart most of the clothing that I thrift, and depending upon the material and how it's stitched and the type of garment that it is will depend on how I actually take the time to deconstruct it. So that was pretty quick time of just taking this apart, and then so I have those 3 bits of fabric, or those 3 pieces of fabric, and then I have this here, which is great for ties, like page tabs or tying together a project or something. This is just some cotton, and you can just stain that, whatever you want to do. And then I have this piece here, and I'm going to leave this actually in here in my little small fabric scrap tin that I have, so I can use this for a project. And then I'll probably go ahead and take the time, maybe, I don't know, we'll see, and pick this apart. I may keep it together actually, because I like the idea of possibly using cutting it here and then having this for like a smaller journal or some type of a needle book or something. So I'll leave it like it is, and then yeah, so that'll be, just give me more options when I go to pull this out of my fabric tote to use it on projects. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.